Reminder, the following video was made for educational purposes by adult medical marijuana patients in California. If you are underage or live somewhere where medical marijuana and/or marijuana are illegal, do not try this at home. What's up, everybody? Chubbs here, out bright and early, putting some miles on the car, trying to hit that elusive 1200. Right now I am cruising around some big-ass mansion neighborhood in the hills of West Covina. I'm cutting through to Turnbull Canyon Road, which goes over the hill into Uptown Whittier. Once I'm in Uptown, I will use the surface streets, cut over to Tustin, where I have a doctor's appointment in about an hour that I'm most likely going to be late for. Fuck it, what are you going to do? Got a question on Instagram this morning from a user that goes by the name Conveyor Belt Nelson. What's up, Mr. Nelson? He asked me who my personal inspirations are, both personally and in the industry. And this is actually a question that I've had to. So I got to hold on to the camera. This canyon road's fucking windy as shit. So I got to hold on to the tripod every once in a while. I let go if the tripod falls over. Sorry about that. But as I was saying, the question he asked, who inspires me, is a question that I've actually had to think a lot about. It took me about 45 minutes to get to this canyon road, and I've been just thinking about this the whole way. It's just a tough question for me to answer because I never really thought about it. So I'd say probably growing up. When I grew up, I lived in Whittier from age 0, from birth till I think it was about 10 or 11. And at that time, I wasn't smoking weed yet. I was really into sports. Like, sports were my shit. So I'd say probably some of my inspirations were athletes like fucking Rod Carew, Steve Garvey. Baseball was my shit. So that was kind of who I looked up to in regards to celebrities. As far as people I knew in my immediate family, my sister was really a big inspiration when I was a kid. At that age, my sister's 9 years older than me, and while she might be a fucking loser now, piece of shit, at that time she was a fucking badass. We grew up right by Cal High in Whittier, and she went to Cal High, and I remember her Letterman jacket. My sister had fucking patches for every fucking sport you can think of: volleyball, swimming, soccer, softball. I mean, she was varsity everything her freshman year. And we had a pool in the backyard. We had a pool installed. We were the only people on my street to have a pool. And once we had that pool installed and she would practice for swimming, I remember just sitting out there by the pool watching her in fucking amazement. Especially once she started doing the butterfly. I don't know if you guys know how to swim, do the butterfly stroke, but that shit is fucking hard. It takes some serious rhythm that I could never master. And she would just fucking plow through the pool, and her legs would kick, just kakoosh, kakoosh. She'd be reaching out, just grabbing handfuls of water. And I would just sit there and fucking smile and watch her. I'd go to all her events, go to all her meets, go to all her games. And she was a huge part of why I wanted to be an athlete. Fast forward to my parents getting divorced, and my sister, my mom, and I moving. My dad split, and then the three of us moved to Fullerton. And again, my sister became my inspiration as a fucking drug addict. She went hard. She was into fucking everything you could. I take that back. She was into anything that made her wired. Coke, speed, pills, and I followed her lead. I was a party animal. From the age of 12 to like 14, 15, even longer than that, 16. I mean, I was about, any drug, anytime, anywhere. You got it, I'm on. And yeah, that's kind of, who inspired me to live that lifestyle. After I kind of figured out that wasn't for me, I ended up moving back. My dad, had remarried and had a new family going in Roland Heights. So I moved in with him, and my stepbrother, who is, 7 years older than me? What's up, Tim? He became a huge inspiration. He was very, very popular, prom king, fucking killer athlete, all kinds of bitches, badass. He had a lowered Celica on wires, which in 1988, 89, that was the shit. That was a badass fucking car to have. And so I used to really look up to Tim a lot. I used to do my hair like him. I used to dress like him. Fucking rocking Z Cavaricis. I mean, he worked at a shop called Bill Gamble's, old school shop in the Brea. I think he worked in the Brea Mall or Puente Hills Mall, one or the other. And he used to hook me up with his discount so I could, afford to dress like he did. And that was for a few years, that was who inspired me to do what I did, act the way I act, and look the way I look. Once again, I just said fuck it and kind of went out on my own. After a while, at age 16, 17, 18, you start to form your own opinions, put together your own style. And I really got into partying, smoking weed, harder than ever. I was a fucking metal head. I had hair down to my ass. You guys have seen my pictures on Instagram, my long hair pictures. These fucking bikers, these idiots that ride 10 speeds with their little fucking skin-tight clothes that they absolutely do not need because they're fucking fat as shit. It's like, come on, bro. Fucking all in my way. Anyways, once I started getting 16, 17, 18 and really figuring out, how life really works, I really just started inspiring myself. Looking back, I don't really, as a young adult, I can't really remember or think of anybody who really inspired me to do anything. I was pretty much uninspired for a long time. And that's the truth. After I started getting a little bit older, age 21, 22, 23, I don't remember exactly how old I was when I got into finance. But I started working for these finance companies doing commercial leases, and the inspiration at that time were the big ballers in the company, the salesmen who were just making tons of money. The thing is, they got in the game early when it was easy, and now they were really making a lot of money off their residuals, not off of new closes, new sales. So they were able to do things that I wasn't able to do because I wasn't in the game that long. I didn't have a book of business to fall back on. People that owed me money at the end of their leases and shit. I had to create new business, and I was really struggling to do it in the beginning when I worked at Amplicon and even a little bit at Balboa until I got the hang of things. It was tough. And then from Balboa Capital, I heard about this kid, or this dude named Eric Sidebotham. What's up, E? Eric was the top producer at Balboa, and he did so well that he left and started his own finance company. It's called Genesis Capital. So I ended up moving over to Genesis Capital, switching companies. And when I did, I had a chance to work closely with Eric, and he really fucking inspired me a lot. He's the one that taught me the value of hard work and really showed me that if you work both smart and hard, it will pay off. By smart, I mean in an industry that is lucrative, and by hard, I'm talking about going hard from the time you start working in the morning until the time you ended working at the end of the day. I mean, we would put in 8 to 10 hour days. At Balboa, it's all lease financing is all about cold calling. And when I was at Balboa and Amplicon, I thought a busy day was 150 to 200 calls. Wasn't even close. When I went to Genesis, on my best day, I made 715 calls in one shift. And the work, the business that turned out because of that, the money I made because of that hard work was so obvious that it really inspired me to put that work ethic and to work that hard at everything I did. So when I started growing, that's the mentality that I had. It's like, don't half-ass it, fucking work my ass, do it the best that I can. If it's something that's worth doing, is worth doing right. That's a very fucking valid statement or phrase or whatever you want to call it. Oh, camera almost tipped. So I really went gung-ho. When I started growing, I didn't really have a whole bunch of money to invest in my grow room, but Mrs. Chubbs, I'm driving through a bunch of rocks right now, hope I didn't scratch my fucking paint. Mrs. Chubbs came from a middle-class family. Her dad had given her a Rolex as a graduation gift, and he had bought her a piano a few years before that. And we sold that piano and we sold that Rolex just so I could have enough money to start a grow. And that one grow is what led me to everything that I have now. Now, as far as the game goes, the marijuana game, medical marijuana industry, the weed game, I've been selling weed for a long ass time. The people that inspired me back then were the people that bought weed from me. They really made it easy for me to get excited. But as I got older and I started growing and I looked online, the person who really sparked my inspiration was fucking Dave Warden from the Weed Report. A lot of you guys, probably most of you guys, know who Dave Warden is. I've never had a chance to sit and talk with him and let him know this, but when I first started making my YouTube videos, he was the person that gave me the idea to do what I did. He was the only person online showing his face, talking about where he works, what he does, taking bong rips right there on camera, and he really opened my eyes as to what can be done. At that same time, I had just come up on a magazine, Inc. magazine, and it had John Chow on the cover. John Chow is an internet marketer who is famous for making money by telling people how much money he makes. I took what I learned from John Chow and Dave Warden, and I created Marijuana Reviews and the MarijuanaReviews.com and the Marijuana Review YouTube channel. Those two guys were fucking huge inspirations. I've actually had a chance to meet John Chow a couple times, and he's so fucking self-indulged that he didn't even care what I had to say. I mean, that guy's a fucking egomaniac. But he fucking inspired me. And so I fucking started doing what I was doing, and as I started making some money, I really wanted to, pay attention to other money makers and other game changers, industry changers, and I really got into Steve Jobs. I started following what Steve Jobs was doing. I mean, this was way back when he was fired by Apple and then rehired by Apple. I paid attention to every fucking thing that he did, and that his way of going about doing things, that really pushed me to do things in a different way. His work ethic, his mindset of, be different, not better, is something that I really, really have tried to keep in the back of my mind at all times when I'm creating a new project, when I'm working on something, and that I really think that mindset is a good part of why I've had the success that I've had. And then I'd say for the last 8 years, while I've really been fucking succeeding and really, kicking ass, I've kind of been my own inspiration. No one out there is really doing what I want to do. So it's difficult for me at times to find inspiration. I have competitors and I pay attention to what they're doing, but they don't really inspire me. I guess they do a bit. They motivate me at times. So that, in a very big nutshell, is pretty much the answer to your question, Mr. Nelson. I mean, those are my inspirations in life, both personally and professionally. When I say professionally, I mean in the industry. I'm just starting to pull out of the canyon right now. I'm coming down into Uptown Whittier. I'm going to cut through Whittier, head through Brea. Get down into Santa Ana and Tustin. Nope, this is my left. I'm about to shoot down Painter Avenue. I'm at the top of Painter right here by Whittier College. It's a beautiful neighborhood. It's a beautiful fucking day. I'm gonna get a bunch of shit done and probably film another video later. As usual, I'm gonna ask you guys to please thumbs up this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot. I am Chubbs from the one and only Nuggetry. Peace.